Okay, so you'll need a drain pan, rags or paper towels, a nylon brush, a low range torque wrench, no more than 200 inch-pounds. You need one that hits 89 inch-pounds to be specific. Flathead screwdriver, a ratchet with a short extension 3-inch throttle body cleaner, and a few bits, a T30 Torx bit, 8mm bit, and a 10mm bit. So first we're going to remove the engine cover, and that's the only thing you'll need that Torx bit for, is that bolt right there. I don't know if that bolt's changed for other model years. This is a 2015, and sometimes I've seen these bolts change from time to time, so I don't know if it's changed, but this model was a T30. See, it's a very long bolt. I've edited it down, obviously, but it's easy to take out. There's no tension to it, no torque. So you're going to remove your oil filler cap, and you're going to pull that off. There may be some tension with those hold downs. You can see one right there, kind of the middle left there, and there's one holding in the back. This one just came off fairly easily, but you may have to just pull and pop off. That's how it should be, actually. Here you can see where the oil filler cap goes. That's where the Torx bit goes. And there's 3 hold downs that are just like grommeted. 1, 2, and 3. And there's corresponding plugs in the engine for them. Now we're going to take off this air duct. There's 2 8mm hose clamps. The first one you can take off pretty easily, but the second one you do have to take off the throttle body connector, which you would have had to do anyways, but you have to take that off first. So first we'll just loosen that up, and then we're going to take off this connector. That's what the flathead's for, or a trim tool will work. Just put the flathead right there and pull that red clip back. It's hard to do by hand on its own. And then there's a button there. You just push the button, pull it right out. Let me show you. So you see the red clip. That's a lock. And then once you push the button, see the lifts, and you can just pull it right out. Now you can get to the 8mm, no problem. So we just loosen that. Very easy to loosen these. They're just hose clamps, so there's no torque specs to these either. So you just kind of slide it right off the throttle body and off the airbox. Airbox there, throttle body on the other side. And there, you have access to your throttle body. And just lay that aside. There's a hose connected to it. You don't have to disconnect it, you can just lay it aside. So when you're loosening these, there's no particular order you have to do it in. Some throttle bodies you do have an order, this one you don't. So this one you could just loosen. So I just actually use my ratchet and 10mm and just crack them all loose first. Get them going, and then I'll thread them out by hand. Again, I edited it down. You'll see in a second I edited it down because there's no point in showing you just sitting there loosening the bolts. But you get the idea. Now you'll see in a second once I take out these bolts, there's actually a gasket there. It may be in good condition, but you know what? It's honestly a good time to probably change it anyway. So if you're doing this, you may want to buy a new throttle body gasket and might as well change it, put a fresh one in as you're taking this off, because how often will you be doing this, right? And, you know, these you do every, depending on the car, 50,000, 60,000 kilometers, thereabouts. I've seen people go much further than that, even 120,000. In this case here, this car's, the first time it's being done, it's got 125,000 kilometers on it. So yeah, you can see the little bluish gasket there. That'd be a good time to change it. So here you can see the throttle body. It's looking, you know, not the worst, but there is some buildup. But this is the outboard facing side. Yeah, this is the side here. You can see a lot more carbon buildup on there for sure. So good cleaning will be beneficial. Also, if you're not comfortable with it, you may want to cover that up with a piece of tape or anything like that to prevent any dirt or anything from getting in there. So now spraying this up, you can actually see it, even as I spray, it's already breaking down a lot of the carbon and it's just draining out. You can see it draining right into my drain pan there. It does need to be scrubbed. Now, throttle body cleaner does dry quick, so you can't be like spray, clean the whole thing out and dry, and then clean it with a rag. You'll have to spray a bit, clean with the brush, and then use a rag and clean that up, and then you spray a little more and rinse and repeat. I edited this down. This whole process for this particular car, because of how much carbon was on there, took me about 13 minutes. I've edited it down to just a few minutes, but you get the idea. I normally start with doing the butterfly flap first, which, as you can see, I just want to point out, I have moved it. See, I've opened it. You can open them now that it's disconnected from the car. Never try and open them when they're still connected to the car, but you can open them when it's disconnected from the car. However, be careful with them. They're low range motors. They're not like high torque or anything like that. So you don't want to damage the motor and damage the throttle body. So you can open them, just be gentle. But you can see here now it's just a matter of using my brush, cleaning up as much carbon as I can, using some rags, clean up what I scrub off, and then keep going, right? And like I said, I've edited down. So you can see how magically it looks all cleaner all of a sudden. It's just a matter of just kind of working with the brush. Didn't take very long, 13 minutes from beginning to end, from when I started to when I finish. It's not bad at all. And just kind of scrubbing everything down. Now, why would you do this? One would ask. So the main reason for doing this is because as that carbon builds up on the butterfly flap and along the the inner walls of the plenum, it starts having some adverse effects. It starts affecting your fuel economy. It starts affecting your power. It can make the car idle rough. It'll throw off fuel air readings, which can then throw off the fuel. And then if it gets really bad, it can actually even damage the throttle body motors. So doing this little simple maintenance, I mean, a job like this, front, back, beginning to end on this car took me about 25 minutes, including removing everything. And to get you better performance, longevity in your throttle body, better fuel economy, why not? This car, because of how much there was on there, every once in a while I got to spray out the brush and just let that carbon exit off of it. It can build up on there, so but you don't always have to do that. It does depend on how bad it is. This one was fairly built up on the intake facing side. All right, now I'm just doing the inner walls of the plenum. You want to do that as well. Get as much off as you can. So you can see I'm just kind of pushing the butterfly down a little, getting my brush in there and cleaning it up. See, holding it in and just kind of scrubbing it. And then use the rag and you clean it up after. And then just rinse and repeat. Yeah. And you can already see the big difference it's making in there. And aside from it looking nice, because it does look nice, that actually helps with the airflow and helps with the operation and everything. So you can see how it looks there. I missed a couple spots, got it on the corner there. I ain't concerned about that though, whatever. But just getting as much off as I possibly can. So that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to kind of just do a final spray down. So just one last kind of fresh rag. No nylon brush. You just kind of spray and do a final kind of cleanup of everything. I guess you can almost call this in a way sort of a detailing. You're just getting any final bits off, any final thing, getting it looking as good as possible. And you flip, and it's the same idea. You spray it down. And get in there as much as you can. And that looks pretty good to me. And actually, I think if you compare it, I think that looks significantly better. I missed a couple spots, but hey, that's okay. That is like night and day difference to me. Look at that. I'm happy with that. So now, when you're putting this on, you do want to use a star pattern, like kind of like you would with a car tire or something, right? Now, when you're threading the bolts on initially, although I did use a star pattern, it really doesn't matter as much. It's when you start getting to the tightening. So you can, if you just want to thread them on in any particular order, not till they're hand tight, just to thread them on to hold the throttle body in place, by all means, you can do that. Do make sure that gasket is still seated properly, whether you've replaced it or not, because if the gasket's off, it won't tighten correctly either. So make sure it's within there's a little groove there. Make sure it's within the groove. So again, just some wonderful little editing so you can avoid some of the time it takes of getting these bolts in. It's not long, it's 2 minutes, but you guys sitting there watching for 2 minutes, I imagine it's not, not the most fun, I don't think. So, it does take a little bit longer, but only a couple minutes threading them in. Super easy. All right. There we go. So now, torque spec. You are going to torque these to 89 inch-pounds. And make sure I'm being very clear with this. Not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. That's where you need a low-range torque wrench. And you're going to do, again, star pattern. So I started, doesn't matter where you start. Just make sure you're not going, like, if I do that bottom one, I'm not going left, right. I'm going one, and then across, and then over to another one, and then across again, right? Alright, and now we're going to put our air box on. And it's just a matter of, air duct, I should say. And it's just a matter of fitting it onto the air box and the throttle body. And then we're going to tighten that one. Now these hose clamps don't have any torque specs either. It just tightens so it's firm, and you can't pull the air duct off of the throttle body or the air box. It should just be tight. But don't over tighten either, because I mean, if you go nuts with it, you can actually break it. It's hard to do, but it can still be done. You can warp them. So you just want them good and tight. Then we're going to put on the throttle body connector, and make sure you push the red lock in as well when you do. So that should just push in and snap, and then you push that in as well. Boom. There you go. So now the last thing to complete the job is to put on your engine cover. You can see again, you've got your different pieces are going to go on. So we're going to take off our oil filler cap. That's going to be our guide, actually. So we're going to put that on. Line it up. Use that to line it up. And then you should be able to feel out the notches, I guess you could say, on the back. And then you just kind of push it down firm, and it'll kind of clip in. And then after that, you just got to put in your T30 bolt, T30 Torx bolt. There's no torque spec to that, and you don't want to go too tight. It's just literally going to essentially, just as soon as you hit hand tight, it's probably less than 20 inch-pounds. It's not a lot of torque on that bolt at all. And then, once you finish that up and you tighten it up, you are done. You're good to go. Alright, so after cleaning this throttle body, I did not need to do any engine relearning procedures. The car just started up and drove okay, no problem, and the car auto-adjusted itself. However, should you need to adjust your throttle body or do a relearn on it, these are the procedures for you. Thank you everyone for watching. I do appreciate all the support out there. Don't forget to throw a like on that video if it helped you, if you found the information useful, anything like that. Make sure to like it. Don't forget to subscribe, help the channel grow, and hit the notification if you want to see more of my videos. If you dislike the video, that's okay, no problem at all, but don't be a troll, alright? Make sure you put why in the comments. I mean, maybe I missed something, maybe I got something wrong, maybe there's something you feel better, or you didn't like how I filmed. Whatever it is, put it in there. I make these videos to help people out, so I can only make it better if I get the feedback, but I need the feedback. Just don't be trolling, alright? Otherwise, if you have any other comments, feel free to do so. I answer questions whenever I can. If you want to add something on there, if you have a helpful tip that maybe I didn't cover, I didn't even know about, make sure to put that in the comments as well. I want to thank everyone, and I will see you all next video.